Hello, everyone! We're back! We're not dead! It's a
Nope.
win!
It really is. It really is.
I love last week I had a tornado that touched down like 5-6 miles from my house,
Mhm.
and while I'm in the basement sheltering, Jillian texts me, she goes, "Tell me you're in your basement." I was like, "Good fam." So it's like, literally, we're alive. Hooray. Oh, Brady, how you been?
Surviving.
Delight.
Last week was a week. 5 days. 5 days, more than 5 days. 5 years.
Oh. It does feel like that sometimes, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Well, hopefully this stream won't feel like that, and hopefully our viewers enjoy themselves because we're back for a bonus round. We had our book 3 finale 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yay.
Something
And
wrong.
that gave us time to was it ruminate, I guess would be a good word. I should probably look
Sure.
up words before I say them, but that's how you end up with fun stories. We have to think about how we would rank our book 3 episodes. We've done this with books 1 and 2, so naturally we had to come back for book 3, and we also have some fun things going on beyond that. You see
Mhm.
the and more. That's a me being a tease. We do have some and mores that'll be very fun. Um, but yes, Brandi was amazing and put together our our entire episode rankings for book 3. And if you're wanting to guess what we did, pause the video now because we won't show the top 3. That one we're going to leave y'all to guess on. But we will show you. I should probably close out the one that has the top 3 just so I don't accidentally open it like a noob. I think this is the right one. The problem is with StreamYard, when you go to open a window, everything's kind of fuzzy. So I'm like,
Mhm.
question mark? It is
Woo!
hot dog. But yeah. Did you see any shocking ones on my list, Brandi? Because
I
I will
don't
say, oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know, I think everything is kind of aligning here. I guess The Runaway for me, like,
Really?
I didn't know that you didn't like it, so not. I don't know what words
It's,
are. I forgot what I was trying to say. Why is it at
it's not
21? That's what I'm trying to ask.
well, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that it wasn't the greatest out of the list, which is a cop-out answer for saying I just kind of had that one on one of the first ones on the lower end and everything else kind of bumped it down. And then when I was reviewing it, I was like, I remember more from Nightmares and Daydreams. I remember more from The Awakening. Like the main thing I remember from The Runaway is that cutscene of them scamming all the people in Sokka going, yoink, with his
Yeah. Okay.
handful of gold. And then vaguely Sparky Sparky Boo Man and a wooden jail. So I was like,
It's true.
kind of had to go with that. That's why. But I need answers, Brandi.
Oh, no.
The Puppet Master at 13? That
Yeah.
episode scarred me and I have it at 4.
You know, it's important because it's where, like, bloodbending comes into play, and bloodbending becomes a pretty major thing, especially, like, in Korra and everything. So, yeah, but, like, there's so many other episodes that I just like more, and so I actually would've put The Puppet Master probably lower, but I just kept thinking about how important bloodbending is, and so I was like,
Really?
"Alright." That's why it got
Oh.
pushed up quite a bit.
Speaking of pushing it up, I noticed a big discrepancy for one of ours, and that's Sozin's Comment Part 2. The whole mess. You have it at 4. I have it at 17. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I love that episode because I love, this episode where Aang talks to, like, the past avatars, and they're all
Ooh.
just kind of telling him the same thing, like, you're just gonna have to. And so I think that it's really interesting to hear their different perspectives and how, Roku was
Hmm.
like, if I was more decisive, this war wouldn't have happened. And Kiyoshi was just being Kiyoshi. And you get to hear from Keurig and Yin Chen. And so those are like, again, two different perspectives that you've never really heard about. And
Mhm.
even just like I think Yin Chen's idea of like what being an air nomad and an avatar are, because that's something that we
True.
actually just it's I think a part of the story that we've never really heard before. And then also you get to see, you know, it's the reunion between like Zuko and Iroh.
Mhm.
And so, like there's just I think a lot of big moments. So of course it's there.
Fair. See, I'm not as big into past avatars yet, just because I haven't focused a lot on like reading the books or any of the stuff. The closest I've gotten to delving into past avatars is the Avatar Kyoshi TikTok account. And I love her for that. Actually, when we talk about the live action, there is a reaction of Avatar Kyoshi to the live action, and it is phenomenal. Uh, let's see. Rapunzel says that was some intense pondering. It was indeed. Hmm. And speaking of Kyoshi, I'm re-listening to the books. You can listen to them.
Yeah, there's audiobooks.
Let me just Kiyoshi. How do you, Kiyo? How did you? Kiyoshi audiobooks. Yay! There's there's like 3 failed attempts to spell Kiyoshi on one sheet of paper now.
No.
I was wrong so much. Did Katie not know audiobooks existed? Oh, I know, because David Tennant and Michael Sheen voiced the Good Omens audiobook, and I listened to that a lot. It's delectable. Yay.
Delectable.
It is. Just some voices, you're like, get in my ear holes. This is going well. Sokka's Master, that was the other one, because that's kind of a reversal of the old masters. Is I have Sokka's Master as a high up one. Yours is
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, it just kept going down to just like story things for me
Okay.
because like not only like do I enjoy Sokka's Master? I do. It's probably if I had to pick like you know, forget all of like the story elements and how important those are,
Mhm.
Sokka Master would be higher. But I just like to think about, the story and like the complete kind of like arc and how, everything's kind of like coming together. And in the grand scheme of the like space sword, I don't know. So it got pushed down.
Space sword is
Space sword.
No, I understand, because for like Sokka's Master for me is mainly, and I think this just ties into how I rank these episodes, is how memorable is it to me? Like, how much do
Mhm.
I actually remember? Because my memory's crap. You know this. Everyone knows this. I have awful memory. And also just like flow and watchability and rewatchability,
Mm.
which for me, I've always like, okay, not rewatchability on the Puppet Master. That one just gets it on pure ballsiness alone of the writers to put that on Nickelodeon. Sokka's Master, I've just rewatched it so many times.
Yeah.
Like, what's your
No,
methodology for your ranking?
Sokka's Master is definitely one of the ones that I've rewatched a lot. Um, it's interesting because I think the way that I think of season 3, there's like everything that happens before the Day of Black Sun and everything that
Mm,
happens afterwards. And
mm.
I think everything that happens before the Day of Black Sun is kind of on the lower end. And if
Yeah.
you look at my rankings, you can see that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
um,
You got episode
because
1 is the last one.
that one listen, it's the beginning. I'm pretty certain that if you go back and look at my book 2 rankings, the first episode in season 2 is the last one
Oh,
too.
well,
Um,
naturally. No
but
one likes the Avatar state.
I just think that the Awakening, like, I'm never excited to watch it. I'm always like, "Ugh, I gotta get through this one." And I don't know, like, it's just kind of
Homework.
it's homework. And a lot of times when in the series an episode can be classified as homework, it can also be kind of funny, but this one's just sad.
Oh,
It's just sad. You're like, "Okay, Aang's alive, but he's depressed." He loses his lighter.
no.
Like
Oh, that
like
true.
he's not having a great time. He thinks that he failed, and, like, it's a sad episode.
It's
And
fair
this is
enough.
my
Now I'm
comfort show,
contemplating
Katie.
my
I
choice.
can't have a sad episode in my comfort show.
Automatically drops down the list.
Drops. But where do you have it?
Oh
You have
gosh,
it
for me, I have it as 19. Nice.
yeah.
I probably could swap it with the Runaway and be okay with that in the end, because it was like the last 3 were just like a dice roll of where do you land?
Yeah,
Oh, hey, look, people have been talking.
look
I
at
haven't
that.
noticed. Marcus Aurelius, so great to see you today. Can we get Brandi voiceover of the Avatar books? Well, what would if you had to pick a voice to voice like a character in Avatar, or like other than your own,
Yeah.
what would you
What
sound like?
what would I sound like?
Yeah, like would you change your voice at all? Like,
I can't change my voice a whole lot.
hmm, have
Like
you tried? Oh, sorry.
like I can sound extremely happy and you know, like there's a range, but when I have to think about it, I
Happy
can't do
is
it.
your range.
No, 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 no. I'm just like, I can sound happy, I can sound sad. Like there's a range.
Oh, okay.
It was hilarious though, because in the meeting today, I've been sick. So I've lost my voice. And a lot of times, um, I don't talk when I'm in the office because I'm just at my computer, you know, doing things. So I hadn't been talking and we were in a meeting and someone asked me a question and I had it and I was like, it's right here. And I was so raspy. And
Oh,
my boss was like, well, don't sound so excited. And I'm like, I don't got a lot of range right now.
oh no. Channel it. Use it. No, sick voiceover is like it's a thing because okay, so we had the plague trip of my storm chasing career. I believe it was the 2018 summer chase.
Mhm.
Basically, God bless her, I love her. Ariel came to the trip with like influenza A, B, C, and D. Um, and it spread in Goodland, Texas, or Goodland, Kansas. We were in Goodland, we were just like chasing, and all of a sudden everyone got sick. And I got it first because I'm a germaphobe. I don't try to get sick, so it hits me harder. And I sounded like Roz from Monsters Inc. And we mind you, this is in Kansas. There's nothing else to do. I was picking up the CB radio and I didn't even have to try it. I was just like, "Hey Bart, where do you think the tornado's gonna hit today?" Bart's our professor. He just goes, "Katie, if you don't put down that microphone right now and save your voice." It's like, "What do you say?" And I'm doing just fine.
Nice.
That's my favorite memory. But no, if you ever want to throw your voice, because I was thinking about this and how I still have a sticky note in my book over here that says Avatar twins, twinatars or something came up with it.
Yeah.
And if you had like kids, you can make your voice sound a lot like a kid if you make your mouth smaller. Because if you think about it as a kid, you have a smaller mouth. And
Mhm.
so a lot of your vocal power comes from growing up.
So if you just make your mouth a little bit smaller, you can make yourself like a little kid. And you just kind of have to purse your lips a little bit, maybe have a little bit of lisp. And I'm going to be the earth bending and water bending one, and I will smack you up the face with some mud, and boom, no messing with me or my sister.
Like that's what I imagine my avatar would sound like.
This is amazing.
There's a reason I want to get into voice acting. And Rapunzel says he'd be willing to chip in $3 for that. We're worth $3, Brandy. High five.
Woohoo.
This is more than what some jobs think we're worth. Let's go Rapunzel or Kyoshi books worth reading. Ooh, because you've read them, right, Brandy?
Yeah.
Rapunzel says they're so enjoyable and you learn so much about the other nations too. Just heard something about the Fire Nation that's making me rethink everything.
Yeah, you learn a lot about the
Hmm.
other nations and like some like nuances within the Fire Nation and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
it is interesting.
I'm gonna have to explore that, especially since now I know there's an audiobook version and my ADHD can handle that. Well, I don't see back to this list that we're supposed to be talking about. I don't really see too many shockers. We did tie with the Western Air Temple.
Nice.
So good on
Woo.
us. I haven't seen any other ties pop up.
The beach is pretty close.
That is, yeah,
Seems
true.
random.
Also, did you notice how many episodes in this season have master in it? You have the Sokka's
know, right?
master, then Firebending
master.
Masters,
The puppet master.
Pumpin' Master. Like, all right, we're getting to elite level Pokemon right now. This is the Elite Four. Or for us, the Elite Three, because I believe we can reveal our top threes. I still hope this is the right graphic because it looks like a bunch of squiggles without my contacts in. It is! Yay! I was surprised.
What do you mean?
Number 3, the Fire Lord and the
I-
Avatar.
I love that episode so much. Like that is perfect. It's perfect. Is what it is. Because it changes so many things. It adds like this extra layer between like how this conflict got started and you know everything like that. Then you learn everything that you do about Zuko and oh, he's related to Avatar Roku? Excuse me, what? And so like it just changes so many different things. And I think that that's one of the episodes where you watch it like it first came out and then you immediately just went I have to now think about things differently now. Like kind of like what Rapunzel said, just heard something about the Fire Nation.
Oh, I thought you meant this one.
No. Like, the Kyoshi books, you learn stuff about the other nations and it makes you start to rethink. And I think that that's what that episode does, the Fire Lord and the Avatar. It makes you rethink almost the entire series. And you're like, wow, like it adds so many layers to it. And I love it.
I am now starting to regret putting it 14.
And also like that idea of, oh, do you think, friendships can transcend lifetimes? Like that's just such a
good ending.
It is.
I'm trying to remember why I ranked it so low because you're right. It is nice. It has Swallow. It's good storytelling.
Yeah.
And a lot of my top ones, like Part 4, Part 3, Puppet Master, even Firebending Masters to a point, it's a lot of action.
Mm-hmm.
I that's the kid in me going, yes. I might need to reevaluate and push that one up. I'll swap that with the Southern Raiders, maybe. Because the more I think about the Southern Raiders, the more I'm like,
where do you have it? 7.
It's a 7.
Yeah.
Where did you put it?
Oh
my gosh, 18?
Listen, here's the thing.
Brandy!
Here's the thing. Again, is it a good episode? Yes. But it's just, I don't know. A lot of times when it's weird, like I'll rank episodes that are about like Toph or Sokka like super high.
Uh-huh.
If it's about Katara, I'm like, bottom of the barrel.
No.
Get out of here.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I love Katara. Don't get me wrong. Great character. This is a great episode. But yeah.
Okay. So if that's the explanation for that, what is your explanation for putting the firebending masters at 20?
You know, some things just have to go, you know?
That
Some
was
things.
that was your sacrificial lamb was the firebending master?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, see, that's something you'd expect from me being Greek, having that sacrificial lamb on a spit. Quiero.
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I feel really strong about my top 10.
Okay.
All the 11 through 21, you could reshuffle those and I could make an argument for however they land. Like, these episodes are just kind of, and I think this is just how I feel about book 3 in general. Like, it's
Mm.
not my favorite. It's probably the one that I've rewatched the least, besides like the Boiling Rock.
Oh.
Um,
That one was on every day practically on
like that one,
Nickelodeon.
I will just rewatch because I love that episode. And everything else, I'm just like, I'll just go rewatch season 2. Like,
Oh, see, that's just it's so strange to me because I never rewatched book 2
yeah,
as a kid. Like, I actively avoided it because Long Fang scared the crap out of me. And also I didn't want to cry over Appa every time I turned on the TV. But no, this oh, you okay, I'll explain why it's 3 for me.
this is true.
I
This
do
is
that
true.
to every day at work. When it
Mhm.
comes down to like when I'm doing cut-ins and filming the commercial spots every day to tease the weather, there's like a minute and a half break. And so
Mhm.
I have this desk and it sounds just like the drums they use. And
Yeah.
I sit there and I go and no one's caught me yet, but I am jamming every day. So that one I had to.
It's cool. No, like I get it. Like again, like it's a good episode. It's just
Well, and we get that exposition about Iroh, who didn't kill the last dragon.
yeah.
I like that part.
Mm.
Little bleeding heart over here. Oh, there we go. Marcus Aurelius says maybe Katie doesn't like it because she called it the Avatar and the Fire Lord. Should have called it the Fire Lord and the Avatar. eh, it's got some crusty old guys fighting on a volcano who actually become crispy old guys. Too soon.
You can-
Mark Hamill and Aang. Yeah, that was literally my justification for 1 and 2 is just the sheer voice acting and just amazing animating power that those 2
Mhm.
have, which I can appreciate them being at least in your top 10. And Boiling Rock. I actually thought that yours would probably be Boiling Rock.
Yeah. I love that episode
So good.
so much.
It's and I say
Words
we
to
both
even
put
describe
part
it.
2 over part 1.
Yeah, because part 1 is just laying out the scene, you know? They're getting everything in a row. And part 2, there's just a lot of great things.
Mhm.
And also, like, I think it came with like the biggest shocker, not only with them, breaking out of prison and everything, but like the betrayal of May.
Mhm.
And, like that just like you're just like,
What?
what's going on? And so like it also where it's placed in the season is kind of like this big like push to the end.
Mhm.
Because like in between the Day of Black Sun and the final, again, like you're just given like these filler episodes, which is what the firebending masters are. It's what the Southern Raiders are.
She
Like
had to learn to firebend, and she needed her blood thirst
I
quenched.
know, but they're again like they're just filler episodes where it's just like it's homework sometimes. And the boiling rock,
Yeah.
again, it's filler, yeah, but it's better.
It's
They
recess.
do
It's
it
not homework, it's
better.
recess.
Yeah, and so it just kind of like gives you like, okay, all right, this is why I'm watching this show.
Oh, Brandy wants to get rid of the old folks. Avatar oldies are the best part of the show.
I want to get
Can't
rid
get
of
rid of
the
the
old
firebending
folks.
masters. True. You put the old folks as pretty high up there with the old masters
Yeah,
at 4.
yeah, I love the
The
old
human
guy.
old folks. Animating power.
Riot.
Yes.
This is good.
Right. I use that in some of our weather groups. When there's like a creepy person that needs to be taught their place. And a lot of people respond to it. That and the flaming Elmo, which has become my gif that I have imprinted on my soul.
So
Yeah.
what is it about part 4 that has you ranking it at number 1?
The combo of music,
Mhm.
just the distinctiveness of it too. The swell when Aang wins and he's extinguishing the fire, that like little undertones that are carried over. Just I love the musicality of it and the
Mhm.
action. It's so I remember it frame by frame by frame when Ozai's just like on his back going shit, Aang's coming down at him. It's like, okay, yeah. No, I gotta. And the resolving ending to the story. Because I
Mhm.
do think it's one of the best resolved stories in children's television and in regular all television. Looking at you, Danny Phantom. Can you spell rushed? It's surprisingly spelled Danny Phantom planet. Uh, but yeah, I encompassing all the things that I look at in shows, animation, voice acting, power of the music, story. It just had to top it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming for you, part 2 is very similar. It ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, like for part 2 of Sozin's comment, I think it just is a matter it's kind of like everything over the course of, the 3 seasons are kind of coming in
Mhm.
to play. And like these are the strings that are getting tied up. And so it just feels really satisfactory to have, these characters that we didn't get to see during the day of Black Sun and maybe some characters that you forgot about, like June shows up and you're just like, wow, like I
Yeah.
haven't thought about June,
Whoa.
since season 1. And, so there's just like I think just like, these really great moments of kind of like this quiet before the storm that I think is just really satisfactory to me. And again, also, the Zuko and Iroh reuniting. And I always just love learning about the past avatars as well.
Mhm. Definitely. When you were talking about like, oh, it's the calm before the storm, it reminded me of my new obsession, Has Been Hotel. There's a scene. Trust me, the ADHD and OCD, it's a hell of a combo. I get hyperfixated on these shows, but there's a scene they're getting ready to go into battle, and they're like, "Thank you all, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be great." And then this one character just like 2 foot nothing, just goes, "We're all gonna die!" And that's probably what Momo's internally screaming when everyone's gathered together before this. They're all gonna die, Appa. And Appa's like, oh gosh. I need to check how religious you are before I invite you to watch that show. Because I have a friend from Sioux City, who actually 2 friends from Sioux City who have expressed interest. One's already in the cult, one wants to be inducted, so we do have an open slot.
Ooh.
But also I value our friendship and don't want you to think I'm incredibly sadistic. So
Nah.
great, do you like dark humor and sing-alongs?
Sing-alongs.
Okay, wait.
There's
Just because-
sing-alongs?
Oh, the whole thing is musical. You know the guy who did
Like Phineas and Ferb?
well, kind of. You know the guy who did spooky, scary skeletons and
Yeah.
shivers and like the Living
Yeah.
Tombstone? He wrote all the music for the show.
I see.
I'm gonna send you a song afterwards, but let me see if I can find Take That Depression. Hold on. I gotta find. Okay, this one's gonna be good enough. I'm just gonna show you. I freaking love this guy. And then we'll get to the rest of the stream. I swear, everyone. But yes. So mind you, this is supposed to be Lucifer, by the way. Yeah.
My daughter wants to see me. Take that, depression.
I have been using that all week. Take that, depression. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, careful not to show too much music copyrights. No worries. No music here. You can look it up on your own, which I highly recommend. And apparently Flaming Elmo is a part of the Wheel of Time gift property. So, interesting. But yeah, no, that was a detour that I had to take. Because I just
I'm glad we went down.
about the show, and I cannot tell my parents about it. There's 8 episodes, 300 and I think it was 7 swear words, hard swears, in 8 episodes.
How long are each episode?
25 to 30 minutes.
That's what I thought.
So again, I value our friendship.
I live with Brianna.
True. Bree would love this.
Yeah.
Oh golly. Okay. So episode ranking. Oh, I rotated the image. Oh crap. Undo. I can't undo the damage I've done. It literally just saved us upside down. Great. It's fine.
That's
Katie may be
fantastic.
too impressionable for the show.
She is.
You
She
have
is.
no idea. I am the face of innocence. And then I found the show and I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm
There goes
Nope.
innocence. On now.
went right out the window. Should have closed that before watching. Anywho, there's no good transition for this. We also have another list brilliantly put together by Brandi on a glorious graphic. That is what I'm affectionately calling bare bones. This is our bare bones. That innocence. Oh, I'm making an edit of that and sharing it with the has-been groups because there's a lot of people like me who like it. But yes, we did the bare bone 10 essential episodes from each season because why not? We're done with the series. We might as well. This should get interesting. Because, okay, there's a lot to see here, and my stigmatism makes me need to make the window bigger. But because it's like, okay, let's start with season 1 naturally. Boy in the Iceberg. Yup. The Avatar Returns. Yup. Warriors of Kyoshi and Keiwa Masho. What?
Yeah.
Records.
So why do you think the Warriors of Kyoshi are important?
Because, and I will argue this, Suki's more important than Bumi to the story overall.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know you like Suki, so it shouldn't have been that hard of a fight. But anyway.
No, this one was tough for me because I was like, oh.
I'm so surprised you left him out.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking, like, yeah, like Suki is important and I love Suki, and this is not me, like, but I think that the reason why I picked Amashu and the reason why I think Boomy is so important is because it's the first time that you meet somebody that knew Aang when, back then.
True.
And it gives Aang a lot of hope and is kind of like because season 1 is all about Aang, I think kind of like forgiving himself for running away, but also like coming to terms that he's the Avatar. And I
Mhm.
think Boomy helps him do that.
I can
And
respect that.
and so that's why I think that it's important. Also, when I think of season 1, I think of this episode. Like
Oh,
it
oh.
tonally, like this episode
Hmm.
is what season 1 Avatar is about. Like it's goofy. They're in the mail cart systems. It's Cabbage Man, which I believe is
Yes,
probably more important to the story than Suki.
I will give him that. He's transcended
Um,
universes from 2D to 3D.
exactly,
He's
exactly.
dimensional
Uh,
shift.
and yeah, like it's like, Boomy just being you got to think differently if you're going to end this war. And
Eh.
I think those kind of like elements kind of permeate throughout the rest. And that's why it got put on my list over the Kyoshi
Okay.
Warriors. Even though I love Suki and I love Kyoshi and I love that episode. Um, but decisions had to be made.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I mean,
that's
either one would have been a good choice.
exactly like you
Like,
can.
I made that choice knowing I would have to sacrifice Return to Omashu.
Mhm. I would almost
So,
on my list, like I put the deserter. I would almost take the deserter
yes.
out to put Kyoshi Warriors in, but I think the
Okay.
deserter is also important too. So
Yeah. Okay, but yes, why the deserter? Because that one did surprise me on your list. That was like the one that actually stood out to me.
yeah. So I put this one because Aang is afraid of firebending. This is where he becomes afraid of firebending, and I think that that is kind of important and comes into play as a part of, again, like him being the avatar and like coming over that fear and like controlling that power. And it's also
Mm.
important just within the realms of like season 1 is the fight between Aang and Zhao. You kind of like get to see a little bit more of Zhao, and I think that's the episode where Zhao kind of becomes the main villain of the season. And
Oh,
you
true.
kind of get to see how kind of out of control Zhao can be, and that's kind of what his
Mm.
downturn is. So, like, if you're thinking of not only the whole series, but just season 1, I think that that's, like, context that you need, and
You
so
know,
that's why the deserter got put in there, and the Kyoshi
dang.
warriors did not.
Okay, I'll take it. No,
Mhm.
no,
I wanna
that's
know. Oh, go
respectable. Oh,
ahead.
no, that's a completely respectable decision.
Yeah, I wanna know why the waterbending scroll.
Yes. Okay. So I was torn between that and the waterbending master because they're both very key to oh, I almost said Korra. Katara's
Mhm,
development.
mhm,
Um and I do like how she grows in that episode because it does show that even on her own she could master things and she could like do a lot by herself, which the waterbending master proves extra.
mhm.
But I just feel like in terms of her growth as a waterbender and her character as someone who's resilient and like does her own thing, just is like I'm gonna learn. And that one kind of ranked a little higher for me. because
Okay.
I was considering like bumping it, but
Mhm.
then we also get pirates, and we get to see the White Lotus tile, the Paisho
Yeah.
tile show up. So little
Okay.
bits plus the
All right.
monkey, and I love your monkey theory, so I have to include that so the theory can exist in the essentials list.
This is true. All right. Yeah, like I put the Waterbending Master kind of like for the same reason of, it's Katara and um you it's so important to like her character, and I think it shows a lot of how much she cares. Not
Mm,
only about, becoming a waterbender, but also just like her intense sense of like right and wrong and justice.
mhm.
And those are like elements that you kind of see in Imprisoned, the episode with Haru.
Which neither of us included.
Well, of course not. Um, but they're still like essential to like the season 1 Katara.
Mhm.
And so plus
They
like
did
that
a lot
battle
for her.
that battle between Paku and
Oh my
Katara.
gosh, yes. The ice disc slice.
Yeah. So,
Oh, that's hinting ahead to another thing. That's one thing that I absolutely freaking loved about the live action. Um, yeah, but spoilers. Let's see. Both had the storm. Both had the blue spirit. Both have Siege of the North Part 2. Both have Winter Solstice Part 2. I mean, overall, that's a pretty cohesive agreement
yeah.
between us.
Yeah, it is.
Northern Air Temple. Now, my reasoning for Northern Air Temple is probably different than yours.
Okay.
Why did you include it?
It's where the airships are introduced, and it's in like it's so minute, but it plays off in such a big way at
Mm,
the end that it's very important. And I think also um there's a lot of other like little Easter eggs. Like you can see blueprints for the drill and you know all of these things, and plus the mechanist becomes really important in the Day of Black Sun, where we have all of these great inventions. And so it's just kind of the more invention side, plus pretty good Sokka episode.
Yep. Okay, see that my first thought was Sokka because we finally get to see him be inventive, use his brain. Like it's nice he's not just a hunk of meat.
Yeah.
Like,
And also kind of like going back to, the reason why I put the King of Mashu on there, Aang, it also gives Aang a chance to like accept that the air nomads are gone and like the
true.
world is changing, and change doesn't have to be a bad thing. And that again is kind of like what I think Aang's season 1 character arc is all about, is him just accepting that the world has changed, accepting that, you know, it's not all of his fault and,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So
Definitely. Well, yay. I'm glad it's not too different because I was like, oh yeah, airships, those are important, but Sokka. Oh gosh. Another thing we'll discuss for Netflix. I may or may not have an intense crush. Season 2. Unless I don't think we have anything else on season 1.
I don't think so.
Chat, what do you think? Did any of our guesses surprise you? Might as well include everyone. But yeah, season 2. This is where we kind of split a little bit. But again, we have what is it? Blind Bandit, Zuko Alone, Bitter Work, The Library, The Drill, Lake Lao Guy, The Guru, and The Crossroads of Destiny. 8 of 10.
Yeah.
We are in sync. But the difference is Return to Amashu. I'm assuming you picked that because of Boomy again.
Boomy, but also this is where you get introduced to like May and Ty Lee.
Oh crap! I forgot
And
about that.
this is also, I think, where the gang meets Azula. So This is
Yeah.
this is kind of this is a lot of stuff happening, and also, the whole, like, Boomy, because I think going into season 2, we were all just like, "Yeah, like, Boomy will teach him how to earthbend," and we
Yeah.
didn't get that, and so, you have to wait and find someone you have to find a earthbending master who waits and listens,
Mhm.
and we see it in part 4. That's pretty much how Aang defeats the Fire Lord, is
Mhm.
through the way that Toph uses earthbending, and so if he didn't meet Toph, like, would Aang have been able to defeat Ozai? We don't know. Um, and so
That is
that's why this is there, because it's a heavy hitter of an episode.
hmm. Now question, we're opening up a side tangent. Pull into the station, Brandy.
Let's
Uh,
do it.
I don't know, did we discuss this? This was like 2 years ago at this point. Um, actually, pretty sure it is. Uh, do you think Boomy had a talk with, like, the spirits? They're like, "Mhm, don't touch him. He needs to find someone else to teach him." Like,
No, I
how
don't
how
think
did he
so.
know he needs someone to wait and listen?
I think that I think that it came down to Boomy and Aang know each other from before they knew that Aang was the Avatar. Like, they were kids.
Hmm.
And Boomy has had so much, like, 100 years since, meeting Aang, and to think about all of these different aspects, and what the world needed. And he knew that the way that Aang thought and the kind of avatar that the world needed meant that Boomy couldn't be his master, like, couldn't teach him earthbending.
Mm.
Like, there was he could get it done, but Aang needed something else, and Boomy knew enough about earthbending and the different, like, nuances that each bender kind of has, and he just knew that he didn't have it.
Hmm. Okay. So it's like Dairy Queen. It's not my first choice, but in a pinch it'll do, sort of a thing. And it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
let me send you over to Culver's, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Go get that custard.
okay. Huh, that was actually a pretty good side tangent. That didn't stray too far from the tracks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got that, and then another one where we diverge. You have the City of Walls and
No, no,
Secrets.
no, 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 the chase. You gotta
Oh,
talk about the
snap,
chase.
that's Chase. I think that was my substitute for Azula. My brain farted and was like, yeah, we need
Oh,
Azula
okay.
here.
I was like,
So,
"The chase? Excuse
yeah.
me?"
No, that and we get to see Zuko and Iroh with the gang, and oh my gosh, Bogus or Beetle Bogus.
Bogus.
Oh, it's so good to see you
Uh,
again, Bogus. Missed
I was like,
you.
"Man, the chat is quiet. It's because we haven't been graced by our bug deities yet." There we go.
I see a spin-off show. It'd be like Friends, but with Bogus and Bogus. Be great. All hail the great Bogus, destroyer of worlds and crops. Uh, never fear, I am here. Howdy. What do you think of our list, Bogus? What do you think? Um, yeah, no, the chase. I just like seeing the gang with Zuko and Iroh and then Azula, and it
Okay.
just felt a very, very good character conglomeration
Mhm.
that if I like skipped Return to Amashu, okay, it's fine if you pick him up here, sort of a thing.
Gotcha.
That
Okay.
was my substitute.
Yeah, I kinda
Um,
forgot I forgot about, like, the battle at the end and how, like, they're kind of all working together against
mhm,
Zula.
mhm. Yeah, that one. That one's a good one.
Yeah.
Poor Iroh. Uh, as I get war flashbacks. Uh, I like how also we both included the library, but not the desert.
Again, like, I would love to include the desert. Um, but
Mhm.
it's really just them getting out, and, like, and, Friendly Mushroom is an important cultural icon, and I recognize that. Um, but if you don't have the time, it kind of has to get cut.
Yeah.
Because in the library, that's when they learn about the eclipse.
Mm.
That's really important. So,
Mhm. Can't cut that. I
yep.
still I view those as like part 1 and part 2 of the same story.
Yeah, definitely.
It could have totally been like the desert part 1, the library, the desert part 2, flying hornets and a cactus.
Mhm.
Um, not quite as ringy to it. The boy and the iceberg, as in lettuce, iceberg lettuce is great. So are mushrooms. I sit on one all the time. Bogus is down for the food talk.
We need a bogus food show.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Yes. Get on here. Oh, boy. Okay, so we got library, the drill, and then you included City of Walls and Secrets, and
Mhm.
I can understand why.
Yeah. So within like I guess the context of season 2, like they've just been, trying to get to Bossing Say for all these different reasons. And I think even within season 1, like you kind of get like this idea that Bossing Say is this safe place.
Mm.
And very quickly you realize that it is not. And
Yeah.
so you kind of like have like this switch where it's not only them against the Fire Nation, it's them against, you know, the controlling powers of the Earth Kingdom.
Mm.
And I think season 2, kind of a theme that gets played with is, you know, who you think your enemies are or aren't really your enemies. They can be your friends because this is kind of where Zuko starts to, you know, tiptoe between, good and bad. And it also kind of shows that who you think your friends are your enemies. And
Yeah?
so
Whoa.
like that theme I think is so important and is so clear in City of Walls and Secrets. That's why it gets put in the play here.
Okay, I give you that. Yep. I I think it's just I have a paranoia when it comes to Judy and Long Feng and just like all of it. I'm like, I'm not going to scar anyone else with the knowledge of this. The less time on screen, the better. Uh,
I think it's a great episode.
yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, you put that one. I put the Earth King. They
yeah.
both have their merits.
Yeah. I guess they
But we
are
both
kind of
agree.
very similar.
We at least we agree that we have to get Appa back with Lake Lao guy. Appa comes back. Jet must die.
No, that and it's also where Zuko frees Appa.
Yes.
And that is very important for a lot of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Moral battle,
yeah.
the Western Air Temple, all of it.
Mhm.
So, okay. And then, yeah, closing it out, the Guru, Crossroads of Destiny, critical for the rest of
Correct.
the story.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then we get to season 3, and it's Sokka's Master versus the Awakening.
Sokka's back. Explain that, Katie.
Okay. Space Sword.
Space sword?
Space Sword. Because it does help during Sozin's Comet, and we get to see it show up a lot. It's important for boiling rock and everything. Like, just he carries it around, and I feel like it's important to know where that just came from. He didn't just buy it at a thrift store, sort of a thing. Um, and just to have context-wise knowledge of Sokka gaining maturity.
Mm.
And because it does you a lot of season 3 focuses on Sokka maturing. You have the failed so boop, boop, uh Day of Black Sun. You have that failure. You also have him at the Boiling Rock, and I feel like it just drives a lot of his decision making. So that's why I put it in.
Yeah.
That's usually it. Why? I mean, I'm assuming the awakening just because it's important to the story, and I completely forgot that I should include it.
I mean, yeah, like it shows that, Aang survived and everything like that. But it also shows that they've met up with Hakoda, and
Right.
like meeting up with Hakoda and Bato are like so important because it comes into play with the Day of Black Sun and like getting the whole like invasion. Um
Mm.
Plus it also sets the stage. Blech, that was a lot of S's. It sets the stage for them like hiding in the Fire Nation and kind of being covert, and also is like and showing that like, hey, the world thinks the Avatar is dead, and so it brings up all these like, these kind of like
Mhm.
emotions from season 1 for Aang of like, oh, he failed.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important. It's a crappy episode, but it's
Yeah.
important.
And I'm like, what could I cut on my list that I'd be willing to cut in order to fit that in? And I'm like, nope, 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 nope. Guess it's staying cut.
Guess it's staying. Let's just keep on flying.
Oh, we got a whole
No.
chorus. Focus
Wow.
brought his friends. And it's raining bugs. Hallelujah. It's raining bugs. I know a lot of people who would die on the spot if that happened. From fear. I'd embrace our bug overlords. Let's see. What else did we had Day of Black Sun Part 2, Puppet Master.
Well, the Avatar and the Fire Lord. That's very important.
Yeah. That
For
one.
I've already been on my soapbox about that episode. I'll get
And it
back
was a
on
good
it.
it
I'll
was
get
a
back on
good
it.
speech. Yeah. See, I swapped it out for the Firebending Masters because that one's the one where Aang learns firebending. So I was like, okay, I guess that's kind of more important than some backstory. But at the same time, like, we should have just done all of Sozin's Comet as one episode, freed ourselves up a little bit.
It really should have been, but these were the rules that we gave ourselves, so these were the rules that we were going to follow.
Live and die by
Um,
our own made up rules.
yeah.
Oh gosh. But yeah, no surprise. Parts 1 through 4 of Sozin's Comet.
Yeah.
Critical. But I need why the Southern Raiders?
Because it's important for Katara's story, because that's where Katara trusts Zuko again, basically.
Okay.
But at the very end, it leaves this question and this moral conflict that Aang is getting ready to face in the finale of, you know, is Aang gonna take out the Fire Lord? And Zuko, like, even just like asks, like, what are you gonna do against my father? And there's just like this big swelling moment of just like, oh yeah, what is he going to do? Because it's something that, ultimately is being worked towards throughout this whole series,
Mm.
but you're having so much fun, you just don't really think about it, or it was because we were kids when we watched it, we weren't thinking about it. We were just like, I don't know, gonna bring out handcuffs and throw him in a, timeout. Um, so yeah, so that's why I put the Southern Raiders on there, just because of like that last like little line that Zuko has.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Bogus says, last night of season 3 seems you both copy each other's homework, or the last 9 of season 3 you copy each other's homework. We're just in
Yeah.
sync.
Yeah, we are. Why do you think the Boiling Rock Part 2 is so important?
So, I think it's mainly because of Azula's downfall.
Mm,
It's the start of her snapping. And really it's the not just the start, but it's the main gouge. It's kind of like when they were cutting the beams in the drill. Like they got really through that one, but then it was just like little
yeah.
bites out all the others that really made it happen. So that's my main thing. Also just seeing Sokka get his confidence back after the Day of Black Sun.
Mm.
Because I know I would have been a mess. That's important, and just to see, they get Suki back too, having Suki.
Yeah.
I just felt like it explained a lot that I would have been confused by.
Yeah.
So,
I would almost take out Sozin's Comet Part 1 and put in the Boiling Rock. Or maybe
okay.
even like the Fireman. Because I was thinking about the Firebending Masters. Because I was thinking about that when I was making my list. I was like, Part 1?
Yeah. That's how I felt about part 2. I was like, the meat of it's in part 3 and 4, but if I had
No,
to
like, I
go
think
with
Part 2 is important.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
now like it may not be one of my favorites, but
Mhm.
it is one of the more important parts.
And, like,
So,
the only reason that Into the Inferno is there I just realized I don't think Inferno is spelled right on this. I think I have a typo.
eh,
I
in
don't think there's an
Inerno,
F.
I didn't question it.
Anyways,
So,
this is what happens when you make your graphics little last moment.
oh
Anyways,
gosh.
Into the Inferno. I would almost take out that, but that's also like where not Katara, Azula really goes off the deep end, so you got to keep that one too.
True. Yeah. Well, I was to say if we gave ourselves some grace period by combining Sozin's Comet into one, then you'd have 3 free spots and you could do the Firebending Master, Boiling Rock.
Yeah.
Also,
do it.
Bogus says the Boiling Rock is important. It is how the bug devil stays warm. It feels just like home. Oh goodness. Yeah, no, I think we had a pretty solid bare bones list here.
Yeah.
That doesn't make for good content. We need to fight Brandy.
We need to fight.
Is what the people want. No,
All right.
this I am happy with this being the listing that we have and the closing of the book on the animated series.
Yep. Wow, what a journey.
We did it. 3 years.
I know.
Yay. Oh, Bogus wants us to fight. It's not like we have anything else to do after watching the animated series. Oh, wait, we do! Because Netflix came out with a live action. And I have been wanting to talk about it with you, Brandy. Yes, I feel like for the last 26-ish minutes that we have, we might as well discuss a little bit of it, first impressions, without too many spoilers, because Bogus just comes to help watch hours. You are appreciated, Bogus, so
Thank you very
much for that. Thank you. I have
Thank
to
you for your
check our watch hours.
sacrifice.
It's a noble sacrifice. The real question is, Bogus, are you going to watch the Netflix live action version of Avatar? Because it
It's a
is.
thing. It
It's a
exists.
thing. Let's see. The Legend of Korra, Avatar: The Last Airbender book club. That's at least another 5 years of irregular content.
Not Rapunzel putting us on blast like that. No.
I love it.
Stop.
It's true. I'm amazed you stopped at 5 because
Yeah.
Korra got 4 seasons.
Yeah. They're not shorter either, are they?
No, I don't think so. Let me see.
No.
Legend of Korra episodes. It's oop. Oh, I forgot how much I love Tenzin. Okay, it is shorter. They're 12
Oh.
episodes.
Huh?
But aren't they?
No.
Wow.
No, they're just 30 minutes. Or
Oh,
22 and a half.
yeah. Okay, so that one had 12. And then freaking season 2 has 14. What is the Oh, this was when they switched over to digital
The digital
online.
happens during season 3, I believe.
Oh, because then they had 13 for season 3, and then they had 13 for season 4. So they just got cut short by two episodes for season 1, I guess.
Oh, interesting.
Feed the algorithm. Bogus doesn't have Netflix. Bogus is waiting to have his brain melted on the new season of Discovery. Positive brain melting, negative brain melting. Either way, it's soup at the end. Yeah. No, that could very well happen for us to go through Legend of Korra because I was in that cult and I don't know how I somehow slipped through the cult, but I have not been involved in it in quite some time. And it's sad. But yes, okay. Live action as spoilerless as possible.
Yeah.
Um yeah. First impression?
Yeah, there were things that I liked about it.
Mhm.
There were some things that made me very upset.
Oh gosh.
Listen, here's the thing. I started watching it and uh I'm not saying that this is what caused it, but when I finished watching it was then sick for the next 7 days. So
It's your music, man. That's yes, because I cannot watch to this day. I think like the last 3 times, 2 or 3 times I've watched The Music Man, I've vomited afterwards. No correlation. I've just been sick. So,
it
no.
it was, I don't know, like it almost didn't 100% feel like Avatar. I kept kind of
Mhm.
almost wishing that they changed like a couple of different things and just kind of made it an original series or something.
Yeah. They could have.
Yeah.
Reasonably.
And so yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much you want to get into that because I could really go on a
Ooh, well, we'll do a spoiler free and then we'll do a little blurb that's spoilery. If that works. And yes,
yeah.
correlation is causality. Bogus Bogus left it open, so not to offend. Though Katie is smart and knows how Bogus thinks. Rapunzel knows Bogus as well.
But
Indeed.
what were your first initial thoughts?
I liked the colors.
Mhm.
Totally spoiler free. I enjoyed the colors immensely. Tying into Star Trek Discovery, uh, where a lot of times shows in modern age are trying to be so edgy and just, oh yeah, nothing. M. Night freaking Shyamalan. Literally, his avatar held up next to this one is like looking through a sepia filter. Sucks the life out of it. This one at least has life with the colors.
Mhm.
Um, we will not say anything about storytelling just yet, but I did enjoy that. I enjoyed the costuming because it felt like a very happy medium for me between live action and animation.
Mm.
Which helped retain some of the brightness and the vibrancy and the distinctiveness. And the cosplayers appreciate it too. Um, and I was about 60. What's the percentage of the people I liked versus the people I didn't like? There's a decent amount that I thought were really well cast, and I
Mhm.
really enjoyed their portrayals. And I can't wait to see what they do now that they're a little older.
Mhm.
But there were some that I felt were just a little like a model train where the front wheels are on the track and the back are like causing sparks on the back that make your parents like, unplug it, unplug it.
Just screech.
Exactly. But that was my initial impression
Mhm.
was it's pretty. And also, holy crap, that was dark. Like at the same time, it's so bright. And then you get the storytelling. There was one point, I don't know if my parents even heard me. Because yes, I live with my parents for anyone who doesn't know. It's cheap and I love them. But no, I literally was watching, I just went, oh my gosh. And I paused. It's like, did they just spoiler alert for 5 seconds, I'll wave frantically when it's free. But I literally went, "Did they just cremate someone on screen?" And then they did it
They did.
again and again.
Yeah,
And
just
yeah,
it's happening.
great. Okay, unspoiler.
Um,
Oh gosh. But yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think without getting into too much, like obviously they have to reshuffle some things for it to work just within like the number of episodes that they have. Obviously like the runtime is about the same, but there are just certain things that just don't you can only do in animation and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so like there were some reshuffling that I was like, "Oh, yeah, actually that is actually a great improvement and I almost kind
Mhm.
of enjoy that better." And then there are other things where I'm like, you didn't need to do that.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
completely destroys a lot of different things.
Boom
And
it.
like, oh my gosh, I
Should we have a rage room stream where we both just like go to
we
a
might
rage
have
room to
to.
break things and are
We
like
might have to. Um, yeah, it just I don't know. It it somehow hits the mark with missing it.
yes.
It's
Okay,
it's
that's a
almost
weird but
okay.
yeah.
Okay, it hit the mark, but it actually ended up going through the target. Like, that's kind of
That's
what
true.
has happened.
It went around it went away from the target, hit some metal
No,
things,
no,
and
no.
ricocheted through
No,
the
no, no.
back.
It hit, but instead of like oh, this have you ever been axe throwing?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, so y it it threw the axe, it got a bullseye, and then the axe falls to the ground. That's that's what happened. It didn't stick the landing.
Mhm.
And so
Yep.
there were like there's like this beautiful moment as you're watching the axe spin through the air that you're like, "This is beautiful." It's rotating in a way to where the blade will sink deep into the target, and you hear the shake, and for a half moment, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I just did that." And then it thuds to the ground. It bounces off, and as it's bouncing off, you're almost like, "Is it gonna come and hit me? Am I in danger?" And
Am
you're just
I in
like,
danger?
"What's going on?" And then, it clunks to the ground and you're like, "Okay, I'm fine. I'll go pick that up and try again? Try again?" That's what
Yes,
this is. Those
yes.
are the
Oh,
emotions that I
literally that the try again is like, are we getting a season 2? Because I was left feeling, okay, they did enough in this that I feel like they could stick it in the board for season
Mhm,
2,
mhm.
especially depending on who they cast as Toph.
Yeah. Well, that and not I don't wanna say that our characters in season 1, looking at, like, the original show, are that
Mhm,
much different, but obviously they all have their own journeys, and I think that a lot of their more, like, annoying quirks are in season 1 that just
mhm,
don't really show up, like, as they mature or as, like,
mhm,
the writers kind of get, a firmer grasp on who these characters are,
mhm,
and so without getting too much into it, like, I think we're seeing a lot of comments about, like, how people are like, "Oh, I don't like how this person, did this role," or blah, 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 blah,
mhm.
blah, blah, and I just keep thinking to myself, "Okay, this is season 1 iterations of these characters,
Yes.
where they're not like, we have the added benefit of if you've seen, the original, you can see everything, you know the full equation, you know what it
Mhm,
equals out to." This right now, we only have, like, 1 variable.
mhm,
And so I'm
mhm.
like, you know, can they pull it together? Can these things be good? Possibly. But at the same time, the axe still didn't stay where it
Mm.
was needed to be. So,
Yep. We'll see. They have not been confirmed for season 2, have they?
they have not, but I do believe that I don't know who exactly it is. Either one of the show's executive producers or whatever just got where he's, like, now in charge of, like, films at Netflix or something. There was some, like, big
Oh,
promotion. So everybody's kind of like, "Yeah, I think it'll happen." Um,
okay.
but
We just
I
need to see a live action Toph to break the curse.
I think that generally speaking, like I obviously, we're only like what, a week or 2 weeks out from, when it first
Yeah.
got aired or whatever. So I think that the internet isn't fully like talking about it, but
Mhm.
from what I'm seeing, like I don't think people hate it. Like we're not
Mhm.
making fun of it to the
Yeah.
degree that the movie gets
Oh.
made fun of.
Oh, not nearly as much. Can
Um,
you imagine if we had all the social medias back then?
ugh, man, like it would have been crazy.
Someone call the coroner because we just saw a murder.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, so I bet you there's a season 2.
I feel the same.
If
And
only because the fans are gonna be like, "Just show us a live action Toph."
yeah, yes. That's why it's so important with who they cast. Oh, yes. So I dare say for the last like 10 minutes of the stream, shall we venture into spoiler territory?
Sure.
Just to cover some of the generalities.
Sure.
So everyone who has not seen the live action, it's 8 episodes. You can watch it if you want. It's not going to be too dramatic of well, I don't think there's much to spoil. You know the story anyway, so
I think
um
there are some elements to it that like, you know, aren't from the original show. Like
right.
there's that are good too. Like there
Yes.
there's one moment in particular that I'm just like, "Ah, man, ah,
Ooh.
it should have been in the original. It should
Ooh,
have been the
ooh.
way."
In that case, put down the blinds because we're getting into the spoilers and go, Brandy. I need to know.
Okay, so spoiler. Okay, I'm just spoil.
Spoilers.
Do
You
not
can't blame
come
us.
at me.
Don't sing River
Um,
Song at us.
the one thing from this series, it's such a little moment that I was like, yeah, that's how it should have been. That would have been so monumental. It's the fact that the crew of Zuko's ship is like the battalion or whatever that he saved from being put on the front lines.
That was so good.
It was so good.
Oh my
Like, it was
gosh.
leading up to that moment, and I was like, "Are they gonna do that? Are they gonna do" and they did, and I was like, "That's how it
Uh,
should have been in the original," because it's that level of, like, tiny little moment, like, tiny little detail that is what, like,
mhm.
Avatar is all about, like, it's that level of, like, execution and storytelling,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh," and then
Mm.
thinking within, like, the context of the original of the animated series, like, Zhao eventually comes up and, like, takes his crew,
Yeah.
and, like, in the original series, if we had that would have been so, like,
Mhm.
gut punching.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you
Oh.
know it's okay, like, it was just season 1, they were still, trying to figure some things out, but I'm like, "Man, that was the one thing from the show that I went, 'Wow, we were robbed.'" That
Mhm.
was good. That
I
was good.
do I am left wondering, did the original creators, when they were still a part of this project, say, "We had this. We didn't include it in the original. We'll include it in this one." Because it feels like
Who
that'd be
knows?
the kind of storytelling that they're used to.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe they were just like, "Ah, that's a little dark." And then it's like, "Ah, blood bending."
Um,
Ah,
I don't know. I
yeah.
mean, I think it's kind of like one of those details where, like, maybe like in the course of like season 1, they have all these like, things that they want to have happen. Like they know what their end objective is,
Mhm.
but like, not everybody knew like the journey that Zuko was going to go on. And so like that like detail of you know, oh, his crew or the people that he saved. I think the reason why it works so well again is because as a viewer, if you've seen the original, you know all the context and
Mhm.
like, all that, like it's kind of like, his first step in like saving the Fire Nation and like
Mhm.
all the citizens and everything like that.
Yup. Oh, completely. It's sickeningly good how they put that in there.
It
And
is.
it wasn't, like, obvious. Like, they weren't baiting it too much, they weren't overhyping it too much, it was just like Iroh just mentioned. Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
battalion.
like you pretty much go like the
Huh?
entire episode. And there was like this brief I don't know if it's like an audio cue or something, but I was like, wait, is his crew gonna be the like I called it. And
'Cause you're
I
smart, Brandy,
don't
you're smart.
I don't, but I was like, oh my gosh, are they gonna do that? Like that would be so cool. And then like, his lieutenant or whatever is just like, but we're the 41st. And I'm like, it's
Yes.
beautiful.
Oh, what episode was that even? That was, like, solstice time?
Bro,
After solstice?
I don't know.
No, the timey-wiminess.
I watched them so fast, um, just back to back,
Yeah,
that they all kinda just bleed together.
it
Um,
does.
yeah. I don't know, and plus, like, there are so many, like, storylines that are so similar to the show, but they get shuffled around. You're like,
Mhm.
"Okay, they did this, and this is where it falls in the original timeline," but you're like, "Oh, no, yeah." But
Mhm.
so was there anything that, that had you that was just like, "Oh, wow, that was good."
Um, yes. Also, I have to say goodnight to Bogus and good luck with the storms. It looks like the atmosphere is working itself over by the time it gets to your area, so you have less of a chance of tornadoes. Don't die. Bye. Um, Zuko making us tear bend in season 1. It's true. I personally, what was your question?
What was, like was there a big moment or something that you thought, like, did, better than the original? Like
Oh, I freaking, oh gosh. It's not necessarily a moment, it's 2 characters
mhm.
that I felt just they took and enhanced a lot. The first one, just because I freaking love Danny Pudi as the Mechanist, because he also played, Huey in DuckTales, the reboot with
Mm.
David Tennant that I'm obsessed with, and so if I closed my eyes, I heard Huey as like a grown-up bitter mechanic or mechanist. This was like, oh, this is great. But I loved the screen time they gave him, the humanizing like attributes they gave him, and just the way that he portrayed him. I thought it
Mm.
was so good. Um, and it rivaled, if not beat. Actually, it did beat the animated version in my mind
Mm.
for me. And the other one that I felt they just knocked it out of the park with was Sokka. I just the actor they cast for him understood the assignment
Yeah.
of charm and sass and fun, and I was so worried though, like 2 weeks leading up to it when they were like, "Oh yeah, he's not gonna be sexist, he's not gonna be this, he's not gonna be this." I was like, it's like, no, they lied. He is still a little bit of that. It's just toned a little bit down. And so
Yeah.
I felt they did a good job of balancing that, making it more palatable for people to see in live action. And
Mhm.
also, he's cute. So, oh, yeah, I enjoy Sokka in this one.
There you go. Yeah, no,
So,
I think Sokka was probably one of the stronger characters that they really kind of had down,
mm.
and his portrayal spot on. Like,
Oh, good. He's 21 years old. Now I'm not
yeah,
creepy for saying that. He's 21, everyone.
Katie, watch what you say. We're getting older.
Oh, a whole 27. Goodness.
um, Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think his Sokka is very good, and there were moments where I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's Sokka.
That and the oh crap, no, you wanna know? I'm not even gonna look up the image for this. Okay, hold on. Has Been Hotel reference time. I was gonna send you
Oh
this
yay,
clip.
another one.
Yes. Oh, it's actually from the same scene too. Um, this was my reaction to Ko. And like I enjoy George Takei. I
Mhm.
enjoy him in Star Trek. I enjoy him in a lot of things. Holy crap on a cracker. No. No, 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 no. That was not enjoyable experience when they had the CGI on the screen. I'm like, that just freaked me out so much. And while you give us your thoughts on Ko, I will find this segment.
I almost thought that they weren't going to have like the centipede or whatever, because you get like these flashes of like when Sokka and Katara are like being really emotional. You have like somebody come up and like they're in like that samurai suit, and then they have like the mask, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
they've
yeah.
like completely changed Ko, and they've kind of like, have him a bit more humanized. And I was like, oh, I really like that. And then he just kind of like ended up showing up how he does in the animated, which is fine, but I think Heibai looks so good.
Yes.
And like they knocked it out of the park with Heibai. That Ko just, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
and, and like even like what Ko represents in the live action, it doesn't even, it was like this side tangent that just didn't need to happen. Like they spent
Yeah.
so much money making that,
Mhm.
and like it doesn't even, it's not really that important.
No, it
Like it,
isn't. Yeah. No.
and like I think that that's another kind of gripe that I have with this show, is that it spent a lot of time in areas that it didn't need to, and where it needed to spend time kind of like
Mm.
fell to the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they were trying to distinguish themselves to make themselves unique, and they just took like more shaded bits of the original. Or like, we're gonna illuminate them. It's like, no, no, you gotta focus on what's in the spotlight too. Also, I found the clip, so enjoy. This was what I was going to send you, with regards to Ko.
Oh, no. No. No, 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 Charlie. No, no, no. That's
No.
No.
And Rapunzel is 100% right. It's around your mid 30s when you start seeing the 21-year-olds as tiny babies, and you start with the "Hello, Mr. Iroh." I've done that already, and it's "Hello, Mr. Bacula." Um,
Yeah, but Katie's been on that train for a while.
chugga chugga
She
choo.
she had that Bacula picture just waiting.
It was on my desktop.
Yeah, it was.
And we lost one viewer. I'm sorry. They brought in a few elements from the books. Ko may be there to play a part in finding Zuko's mom. If we get Zuko's mom in this show, I'd be down.
Yeah, no, like, they brought in like the the spirit with like the faces, like Lady something.
Oh crap! Yeah,
Yeah. Which is like,
yeah.
yeah, which is like stuff from like the
The mom.
comics. Yeah, yeah. And
Gotcha.
yeah, like that was interesting. That like that's
Mm.
that's fine. Like I don't have a problem with that. It's just
Really? Because your facial expression says otherwise.
it's
Fine.
just fine.
Your eyes
Um
just ever so slightly bulged at that.
again, it was just, I think it sacrificed Aang's story to tell other people's stories.
Mm, it did.
And
Yeah.
so, like, okay, yeah, like, could we say that, everything that was, like, happening with Ko is just gonna set up, things that happen with Zuko? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. But at the same time, it's called The Last Airbender. It's about The Last Airbender. If you
Mhm.
wanted to tell a story about Zuko, make a live action spin-off about Zuko.
Oh my gosh,
And
I would watch that.
yeah, like do those things and tell the story that you want to instead of trying to like
Mm.
force everything into,
Mhm.
because like
Mhm.
it just kept feeling like it was Katara and Sokka's story.
Yes. Like, I ate up Sokka's performance, and
Yeah.
I loved what they did with his story, but with Katara especially, it just felt a little
And like
drawn out.
obviously, yeah. And obviously, they're important characters. They're almost, kind of main characters,
Mhm.
but it's still Aang's story. Like I just kept forgetting
Mhm.
about Aang. And like
Mhm.
all Aang really did was just, oh, read like the Avatar notebook. And you're just like, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, this is stuff I already know.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah. Which
and
interesting
you
with
know,
the Avatar notebook. Interesting addition
yeah,
with that.
that was interesting.
Mhm.
Because I guess that is something that like it had been 100 years and everybody just kind of, knows about like this Avatar stuff in the original series where it's just like, okay, but
Mhm.
it just
Yeah.
eh.
That's where we're getting more into weeds. Just like when they brought up Kurik's is it Kurik? Kurik?
I don't know how to say I just say Kirk. Like,
Kirk.
listen, I'm white. I know that. I'm from the
Yes.
Midwest.
Oh, painfully so. I wore shorts outside for yeah, duh.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
painfully
yeah.
white.
But I know
It's a
I'm
long winter.
not saying it right, and I try my best, but until someone looks at me and goes, "This is how you move your mouth to say it," I'm gonna keep saying Correct.
Yes. But yeah, that was an interesting addition. And Marcus Aurelius says, and going the whole series without waterbending is like Harry Potter going the whole first movie without casting a spell.
Pretty much.
And how much you
Pretty
want to bet that season 2 will start up and they'll be like, yeah, he's a master of waterbending now. Yeet. Like,
Ye Yeah, I was I
it felt weird.
it I don't know, like and, like, they placed, like, this importance of, like, A, knowing that something's going to go wrong in the North, and, like, that's why he has to go there, and
Mhm.
it's like, that's not needed, they didn't need
Yeah,
that isn't the catalyst for going to the North.
exactly.
You just made yourself work 10 times harder. All you had to
Mhm.
do was be like, "I need to learn waterbending. Where are the
Mhm.
waterbender?" Like, it was already built
Mhm.
in there, and I get that in the original series, they they speed it up because of the comet, and Aang immediately knows when the comet is going to happen, and in the live action, obviously, it can't just happen in the summer, like, they have to expand it a bit because
Mhm.
people grow up. And, like, I get it, they don't wanna put a hard time on when the comet is supposed to be showing up.
Yeah.
But the kid still needs to learn waterbending. Like,
Yes, exactly. You were gifted this on a silver platter. Just
yeah,
let it be. You could save so
yeah.
much time for another person's story to
And
add flesh
I know
out.
that they also kinda wanted to get rid of, like, and, kind of, like, going on these side tangents and, "Oh, let's go ride the
Mhm.
elephant koi," and all this stuff. And I understand that. I'm not upset about that at all, and I really, truly am
Yeah.
not. Um, but it's just like I forgot what point I was going to make. Um,
Well,
completely.
Rapunzel agrees. Knowing that the North is in danger gets them there faster. No time for penguin sledding. So it kind of just felt like the writers put it in there for writers' sake.
Yeah, like, I get that that's probably why so that they could get to the north faster. Um, but it's just like I think that this I remember what I was going to say. It's not needed again because this Aang, he was already so like this Aang didn't really struggle with like, I just want to be a kid. I don't want to be the avatar. Like he kind of already understood the responsibility and he kind of already like really heavily weighed the the end of the air nomads. And so, you know, him wanting to get to the north really quickly to learn waterbending, I think would have made a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
and would have gotten rid of like, oh, let's not go do these fun things. You know, this is just our journey to the north, and it would have been fine.
Mhm.
They just made too
Yep.
much work for themselves.
Yes, they did. It flashbacks to middle school Katie going, I'm gonna make a really cool presentation. And this and this and this. It's like, shh, 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 shh.
Keep it
A
simple.
poster board will work. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh gosh, so true. One other thing,
Mhm.
I just have to vent. Freaking Boomy. They butchered our boy.
I I go you talk first. You talk first. I've talked way too much. You talk first.
I just love that we had to take a second to breathe. No, I just of all the story arcs to change, you don't change Boomies. Boomy was such a he's a goofy character who's grounded in reality. And he
Mhm.
tries to bring the two together for Aang. And that's what makes him so charming and just enjoyable. And this Boom, I wanted him to fall off a freaking cliff. I do not like it. Like, it takes a lot to make me not like a character that I do enjoy. Surprisingly, it's easy for them.
I don't I don't understand the motivation of changing Boomy to the degree that they did.
Exactly. Why?
Because I don't know. I think I was reading one article and I haven't read a whole lot of articles yet. But and this is paraphrasing greatly, so I could be wrong, but I think it was the lead showrunner was talking about, Boomy and was talking about how, Boomy has had out like 100 years and has seen 100 years of war and, has given a lot of thought to everything that's happened and that's why he's like kind of like angry at Aang because Aang was the avatar and he just left him behind. And I'm like, okay, but like I think they just missed the point of Boomy's character.
Yes.
They
They could have created an OC for that. Don't do that to Boomy.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think Boomy being upset at Aang just I don't know. Like in the original series, like Aang was already kind of like beating himself up for so many things.
Yes.
And so to have Boomy come in and be like, the Avatar is a great thing, and like just like believe in him. Like that's what Aang needed. He needed somebody in his corner. Because
Exactly.
he lost Gyatso.
Yeah.
And in this series, it was just like that was so unneeded. And like I think it's what upset me the most.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Like more than Ko.
Yeah.
I'll take 100 Ko's if it means I can get Boomy back. And it's not a diss on the actor because I feel like the actor they actually got very well with casting.
Oh
He had
yeah, like
laugh.
that's fine. That's good. Like yeah, like
Yeah.
the kooky side of Boomy was fine. It was just like the anger that he had towards Aang.
It's like, why? He clearly was not functioning for the last 100 years. He's still a baby.
Yeah. And so it's just like I don't know. It just
Unpleasant.
It really
Oh,
is. Like, I still need time to process it, which I think is why I'm,
mhm.
like, not able to, like, fully
Yeah. That's why we're just
Mm.
broad overview of everything, because
Yeah, but
there
it
will
was
be a time to analyze.
I was very upset
Mm.
with that one.
Yep.
Also, like, why in the world this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. W Why was the secret tunnel in it?
Yes.
Why?
Fan service. It was only for fan
I
service.
guess,
When
but
when they when they put Sokka and Katara in the tunnel, I was like, "What in the insert inbred reference here is going on?"
yeah. And then they were like, "Oh, you just, like, turn the lights off and the crystals," and you're like, "Okay, they've just figured it out really quickly." And then they changed it to where it wasn't even that, it was the badger moles could smell emotion?
It's just that'll get real interesting with Toph. Interesting. Okay, wait. Do you
Can
watch
Toph
Bob's
smell
Burgers?
emotion?
Yeah. Have you seen Bob's Burgers?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, YouTube's getting a workout today. There's one clip that is literally this would be Toph. Oh my gosh. Good. A lot of other people have looked it up too. Like a 9-second clip. There we go. This is literally this is Toph. If she has the ability to smell emotions.
Oh, hello. Are you a little bunny?
I smell fear on you.
Okay, I don't like that one.
Character now.
They couldn't smell fear. I thought that they could smell, I don't just, like, negative emotion or whatever.
Oh,
I don't know,
well.
because Katara and Sokka are, like, they're just, like, arguing and, like, bickering, and they're just, going at it. They're just like,
eh,
"Eh, why are you like this?" And then they're just like, "Oh, well, you're still my sibling, so, I kinda like
Love you
you."
anyway.
Yeah.
This is why I'm glad I took well, had to take core at Valpo, because I learned about agape and that form of love versus pheromone fueled
Mm.
stuff. So now I can understand the dynamics of that. I don't remember my core teacher, but thank you. Actually, I remember one of them, Mrs. Gregory. We're friends on Facebook. She quit. Um, they smell pheromones, including fear. Good to know.
I don't know.
Oh boy. Well,
That
before we
just
get
makes
too
them
deep in the reads.
sorry, I
Okay.
was gonna
Oh no,
say
go ahead.
that just makes them the same as a sheer shoe?
Hmm?
Because I don't know. This is what I'm saying, guys.
They sense love echolocation might have been better. I would take echolocation over love sense any day. Although I'm blind to both, so but yes. Oh gosh. Well, it's already 15 minutes over the time that we usually finish up at. Um and before we get too deep into the reads, we should be able to if we choose to go back and rewatch to get some more notes and come back and review the live action.
Maybe we'll just go
We'll
listen,
see.
I have a lot of thoughts, okay? They're just
Should our future streams be labeled as 3 hours because I could go for 3 hours.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. 4. But yes, no, we will be back to discuss the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix live action adaptation. At some point in time. We're back to the vagueness of reality.
Yeah, we don't
Our
have a
lives.
tight deadline anymore, guys.
Yeah. We disappear. End of stream. But yeah, we'll be back. It just depends on life and life. Mother Nature
Yep.
tries to kill me again. The hailstone almost did it. That That was an impressive hailstone. Will there be a theory wall to better illustrate all the changes? I see a blank wall behind you, Brandy. There's space for it.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll do like a Google Doc and just connect dots and pictures. But yes, no, this will be a fun one. And Louisa Expo says I'm actually more positive on something for once. Yay, LOL. Yay.
Yeah, like I don't think it's extremely negative.
No. It's
just
way better than the movie.
This is true. This is true.
Definitely. But yes. Oh goodness. Well, for everyone who is tuned in for tonight as we wrap things up, we have Louisa Sparrow, we have Rapunzel, Marcus Aurelius hopped in, Bogus is here. Thank you, Bogus, for gracing us with your presence. And anyone who watches on the replay, thank you for tuning in. We will be back. Brandi, any finishing thoughts?
Avatar's great, guys.
Woo!
Blame me. Oh,
oh!
I thought you snapped like your fingers, not your shoulder. Oh my gosh, Katie, we're getting old.
The stream is taking years off of my life, Brandi. Oh my gosh, Maria Telly. Yeah. Jeez. Hi there, you showed up at a great time. There's no recovering from that.
She can't end the stream, guys. Her shoulder is dislocated.
Oh my gosh. You know what's sad is that's my good arm. This
No!
trash arm.
Time to start the physical therapy on that one.
Oh my gosh, it hurts to laugh. Your eyes are watering. Oh golly. Okay. We'll see you guys for the next stream. Bye.